decrees. Let's get it. Mark and Will, yeah. Mark and Will, yeah.
It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to the Mark and Will Show. As you can see, there's no Mark. That's Jessica Holman. Y'all remember her from the show? She did. She knocked it out the ballpark. She's on the show. She was going to be on the show even if Mark was healthy. But shout out to Mark. Hopefully, Mark will feel better and everything else. How you doing, Jessica?
I'm doing great. I just had a long day, but I'm ready to, hang out with you for a little while.
Okay. We're going to pump that energy up. We're going to get it up. We're going to rock and roll like always how we do. And I'm going to tell you what, Monday is it's a nice day as far as we have our awards that we give out. So we have our National Offense and Defensive Player of the Week award. So we're going to go ahead and get to that. Bam. So this week's winners is Daniel Swinney from Mail. He had 129 yards rushing, 4 TDs as the number one ranked Mail Bulldogs beat Bullet East. So Daniel Swinney is our offensive player of the week. Defensive player, we went to North Carolina, Charlotte. Defensive player of the week is Josh Isaiah. I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry for you. But 12 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception. Dude ate. He rock and roll. I think he's a junior also, and Daniel is a junior. So shout out to these guys. Big time for their performance of last week. Also, we said it all the time. I'm going to say it again. We do it weekly, so make sure if you player, staff, parent, whatever, if you got a kiddo that really rock and roll and you have some tape or stats, DM us. Let us know. Let us, because basically we'll pick them out. Go ahead.
Well, I got a question. So, did you say North Carolina
North Carolina.
for the job? So, okay, so this is not just
National.
state. This is a national player of the week. Wow. I know you do your homework locally. So, how do you get the stats for someone like Josh?
I comb through the whole. No. Basically, what I'm saying, I go ahead and look at everything. So, like, it's kind of hard. Like, I would love for Mark and I would love for people to go ahead and just throw it to us. It's a new thing that we starting. So basically, we combing through. Just going through the sports, going through whatever newspapers, Twitters, and things like that, just to see the stats and who really balled out. Hopefully, people will go ahead and nominate. We've had some people to nominate some people, so that kind of stuff too. So basically, Josh stood out. Like I said, 12 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception for a defensive lineman, outside linebacker. He's like a hybrid, so that was very important, for me on that one. And then, of course, on the local, I was there, but 4 TDs, 129. Dude's a monster. So basically, I have to do my homework, not just with 502
Yeah.
on the state, but the spirit. Yeah.
I have one more question. So, are you noticing that parents are promoting their athletes more than the coaches, or is it about the same?
Ooh,
Because you said
good
parents
one. Go ahead.
send in, you know,
No,
your players.
that is a great one because right now I would say that I've seen a big shift. Back in the day, it was coaches if they like you, and if you was a big name, you can relate to that. Just like I can relate to that. Now is that the power of social media has given these parents to go ahead and just full board do whatever they can for their children, no matter what sports they play. I've seen it, baseball, soccer, male, female, whatever. I see a blast of it. So they actually the balls in their court, and they can rock and roll with that. And you know, I love
No,
it.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it too.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I actually did some interviews over the weekend and actually talked to a parent. I'm not gonna give the name because we kind of do something special, but yeah, basically you're marketing your kid. I mean, and thing about it is maybe my kid does not want to stay in this region. Maybe he would like to go out west. And so, recruiting goes, some people are like, but I don't think he's going to come here and we'll stay right here. And then also budgeting also plays a fact. Like, can we afford to go down there and spend our time with Jessica? And Jessica may be like, I just want to stay in, you know, Louisville or Kentucky or Indiana area. So, yeah, I love it. So, yes, to answer your question, I right now, those parents is relentless on Twitter.
Well, I mean, they're already scrapbooking. Like my mom kept, scrapbooking of it. I'm sure your mom did too.
Hmm.
This archiving of every,
Right.
stages of the sport that you played in and sports that you played in. So yeah, it makes sense. They know you the best.
Right, right. So they're gonna be like, hey, let's rock and roll. So no, I love that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So um, shout out to these guys, Daniel Swinney and Josh Isaiah. I know I'm sorry I butchered your name. Sorry. I'll get with you. But kudos to you guys. Mark and Will's offensive and defensive players of the week. Yes. So we're gonna shift gears to something that's very special to me that happened over the weekend. Major League Baseball, Braves and Astros win the series. Going back real quick, on Friday, October 22nd, the Astros ended the Red Sox. So they won 5-0. Um, great win. Everybody wants to joke around how I think it was a couple of years ago when they won it or whatever, and they was kind of like taking pictures and cheating, stealing signs, which is baseball terminology, and they made it back. They got Dusty Baker. Dusty's probably about 100 years old, manager. Love him, love him, but he still made it. He made it. So
That's probably one of the safest sports. If you want to have longevity in sports, baseball is where it's at.
right, no, you're right.
Golf.
And,
Yeah.
and, and I'll tell you what, Dusty, he been rocking and rolling. He done managed everybody, done play for every team he's managing. Like I said, he's eating. He did a great job. On Saturday, Atlanta Braves. Our Atlanta Braves, Mark and Will's Atlanta Braves, won 4-2 against the Dodgers. Last year, they was up 3-1, and the Dodgers came back and won the series. Heartbroken. Oh, man. Oh, man. Heartbroken big time, right? So this year, they got up, they did what they had to do, and they won. They going to the World Series. I love it. One of our brothers on the show. He's a big Dodgers fan, and he's just like, "Oh man, we're gonna beat y'all." Well, you know what, Crease? See you later, alligator. You lost. I don't hear nothing of that. But the good thing is this: somebody was in ATL when this was going on. I mean, how was the vibe? Did they even talk about my Braves? What was going on?
Well, the vibe was just full of energy, and I got there Friday afternoon. What's the bell mean?
I mean, it's joyous
I
time.
said billboard. Okay. So and I actually ended up going to a one woman show. The traffic was crazy. It's always crazy, but it just seemed like more people were out celebratory.
Uh-huh.
The weather was perfect, and I was down there visiting family and close friends, and
Good.
everyone was in good spirits. You know how it is here, even locally. Like whenever our team moves forward in
Right,
tournaments,
right.
people are just out, just high fiving, good times, and just enjoying each other's company. It's just turned up.
Turned up a notch. Turned up a notch. Jessica got me turned up a notch. But look, the World Series begins Tuesday, October the 26th, 8:09
Tomorrow.
Fox tomorrow. Big one. The Braves is going at Astros, so we got to go ahead and see that. I can't wait. This is the first time since '99 since the Braves has been to the World Series. Something about the '90s, man. I mean, my other team ain't been in it since the. It might be the year. It might be the year. I don't know. I hope so. Oh my goodness, bro. I don't know. I don't know.
What's
But
the other team? What's the other team you talking about?
you see that hat behind me? Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah. That Dallas. See, he's Mark Stillers. I'm Dallas. So yeah, Do you have a team, Jessica?
are we talking about baseball or football?
Football. Braves. Atlanta Braves are baseball, but football.
Well, football. Maybe you can help me understand football.
Oh,
But my favorite teams are the Colts and the 49ers.
okay. Ooh.
Yeah, for
Mm.
personal reasons.
Right. And they played last night too. Ooh.
But you know what I don't know how to call, but usually men do as soon as it happens, is the call holding. And I'm in the stands, I'm watching the game,
Hmm.
and it's like almost as soon as it happens, you hear this like harmony of men saying holding. Like they can see it from, and we're not on the field or even close to the field. I'm in the
Right.
like who help me understand because there's like 30 people out there,
Well,
right? And where do you look?
but you know what though, Jessica, I'm gonna be 100 with you. You can call holding on every play. And so a lot of times when people see a flag, like say it's a big run or a big play or even like a pass rush, and you think, oh my God, even if they do not, this is a little secret, don't tell nobody. Even though
Okay.
if people they just see their flag and they don't know it, they're gonna say holding off the bat. That's what they're gonna say, holding. And they could be right. 75% of the time it is holding, a lot of times it's other stuff. It, everybody holds like because you got to think when you have a receiver, even a lineman, they get up on you like this. So if you,
Defense can hold, right? Defense can hold.
well, defense can get a flag for that too. They can get defensive holding because you got to think if I'm a defensive lineman and I got you and I'm holding you because maybe it was a stunt, a play that's run behind me, and you're right here, so I got to get you over here. I can hold you too, and they call it also. So a lot of times I'm gonna say a lot of times guys is yelling at is getting lucky because they see that they say holding. So goes on every play for real. I mean
Oh, so it's just something to say. That's like a
holding. Yeah, no. And then look, if say you say San Fran, your team or the coach is playing somebody else, and they make a good play. Oh man, he held that guy.
So usually when it's a good run, like so you just said if there's like a really clean run or like a outstanding play, holding
If
could
you
be
see,
in the
and no,
mix.
if it's an outstanding play, and if you see that flag come down, you best believe it's Bobby holding.
And usually I hear holding on when it's offense.
Yeah,
I've never heard it I'm sure I've been around football majority of my
that's
life.
defense is
So
rarely
usually it's
called.
offense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
defense is rarely called. Now, the DBs, they be holding they get called more than the defensive linemen, but the DBs are the linebackers if they are covering somebody in a
Hmm.
route. So like say when your when he was playing and a receiver come and maybe what I'm saying he's thinking that he's going this way like left and he actually went right. He's guessing, so you might hold him like they get holding calls too. So
Now,
Holding.
is that called pass interference or is that called holding?
Well, it depends on when the ball. If the ball is already left, it depends on when the ball is left from the quarterback. See, because they can call holding or they can call interference. It depends on when the ball's left.
Gotcha.
Well, you are working me tonight, girl. You are working me tonight. Hold on, man. What's going on? I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, that's the only call.
Lisa.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. And speaking of football, we're gonna go right back to. We're gonna actually, you know what? Because I want to go ahead and do the scores. So let's go back to the news scene if I can find it real quick.
Didn't one of our quarterbacks get like, you know, some kind of like 600 passes or 600, was it 600 completed passes or something like
You're
that?
talking about Mr. Brady. So
Mhm.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You think you slick. Jessica said, okay, I'm ready for the night. I got you. I got you.
I know tidbits.
No, that's fine. That's what you need to know. Sometimes I don't even have the tid. I just got the bits. Not just be rock and roll. That's okay. Let me go ahead and bring this up, and so we can do the scores. And I can see things is not cooperating. Sometimes you just get, that's why we raw and uncut. So I just got to go ahead and do what I have to do. All right. So the kickback, we're gonna go with the Thursday game, Thursday night game. You had the Browns beat the Broncos 17-14. I really think that Teddy may be in trouble. Teddy Two Gloves may be in trouble. I'm sorry. I hate it. Is that he's a game manager and they need to be explosive. Point blank. And that's just my view on it. I've been wrong a lot of times, but I can be right on this one because the Browns they had a second string quarterback and they had a third and fourth string running back, and they still beat the Broncos. Okay, so that was on the 21st. So yesterday, October 24th, you had the Packers beat Washington 24-10. Um, you Aaron Rodgers doing Rodgers things that goes without saying. Titans crushed the Chiefs 27-3. That was an embarrassment. Uh, One thing, and we're gonna cover something, and I don't want to really spill it real quick, but I just don't understand how somebody can get a concussion in the game and all of a sudden he's cleared like 2 3 hours later. That doesn't make sense to me. And that was Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes. He got dinged up, and really the Titans really beat them up. They really beat the Chiefs up. This is not the Chiefs of last year or the year before. They have some major issues going on. Also, you had the Falcons.
Will, I meant go. Did they call it concussion or was it just it could have looked like a concussion based on the
They
contact?
said that pretty much say it looked like concussion, but they had him in concussion protocol. So my thing is, so dude was dinged up, he was woozy and all this kind of stuff, and so I maybe and like I said, we'll talk a little later, but what does that look like? I
Yeah.
don't know what that protocol looks like. You see what I'm saying? So we're kind of hold that, but I just thought that was kind of strange, real quick. Falcons and Dolphins. Falcons won 30-28, maybe because you was down there with the family celebrating that even though it was in Miami, so maybe you brought them some juju, and and the Falcons won. The Dirty Birds won. Yeah, they beat Miami. I'm sorry, bumps on her. All you Miami Dolphins people, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm really, I'm really broken up because you guys thought that was gonna have a good season.
Not really.
The Patriots beat the Jets 54-13. It was a crushing. It was the battle of the two rookies and who was going to do this. Really, it's not. It's a battle of one organization sucks and the other one is going to maintain. Giants. Oh my goodness. Beat the Panthers 25-3. Whew. I mean, Panthers started out so great. No, Jessica, they started out so great. They was 3-0, and now they done lost 4 in a row, just like the Broncos. So another team that's I just don't get it because the Giants is not really good either. But that lets you know the Panthers really suck too. Bengals crushed the marvelous Ravens,
Mm.
41-17.
Can't win them all.
You can't win them all, and that this is for Mark. Mark, who hates anybody that's he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so he hates the Bengals, the Ravens, all that stuff. Joey Buck is a bad man. Joey Burrows. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate Lamar and them go out like that, but Lamar can't. Oh, look, so Lamar cannot do it all by himself, and that's the issue. And the Bengals is better than people give them credit. Let's just be real on that one. The Rams beat the Lions. It was the battle of I don't want your quarterback. You don't want my quarterback. Basically, the quarterbacks changed teams, and the Rams with Matthew Stafford just beat the Lions. Even though the Lions played hard and hung in there, but they still, at the end of the day, has to go drink some Gatorade and be 0-7.
Poor Detroit.
Right, and that was my pop's team. I'm sorry, Pop, but I they suck.
For a
Cardinals,
while.
long time, long time. Yeah, long time. Cardinals beat Texas 31-5. Dominate. To me, right now, though, Jessica, the Cardinals is probably the best team. Not because they just 7-0, but that offense is so wicked, and they just added another All-Star, All-Pro player on their roster. The defense is better than what I thought they were, so I have to give them props on that. Plus, Texas ain't got any bad. I mean, hell, everybody who's affiliated with the Mark and Will Show, we can go down there and get that check. I mean, and we probably should because ain't nobody else out there. Bucks crushed the Bears. For all my Bears fans, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay, and now your two teams, Colts
I
beat the 49ers 30-18.
oh,
And it was at 49ers. So yeah, that was a nice one. I tell you what, had a little side bet on there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, a 49er fan, wanted to was talking stuff and everything. I'm like, dude, we don't even play, so I don't even make a difference. But I knew the Colts was good, and I knew the Colts defense. And to me, Carson Wentz, the quarterback, really did some things over my eye that I like. Maybe he's getting it. And I think the 49ers with Jimmy G, the quarterback right now, is not good at all. So I'm not surprised. But hey, it is what it is. Sorry, that's the wrap. That is the Mark and Will Show scoreboard on the NFL. You got a game, Monday night game, that's going on right now between the Seahawks and the Saints. October 25th. We'll see who goes down. With Jameis, Mr. Interception guy, lead Seahawks with Mr. Geno Philly steak sandwiches. Who's going to win that game? I don't know. They don't know. We'll see. For real. So this is the great thing. Like everybody knows, if everybody's seen, Jessica got like 1,000 views on her video. I don't know how she
yeah.
did it. I mean, geez, I wanted an autograph. I text her and said, "Can I have your autograph?" I just, wow, no, that was amazing. Simple.
Ding.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Yeah, I did. But I give you an air horn on that one. There you go. So, we like I said, we wanted to bring her on and everything else because she knows the sports and everything like that. So we decided we're gonna do something a little different. So now we got some heavy hitter. We got some questions that we want to answer. Like Jessica and I would go back and forth and talk about it and have a discussion about these questions. So hope you guys enjoy this new thing. And let me go ahead and if I can find it. Bing. Question number one. Should professional female athletes be paid the same as their male counterparts?
Have you even looked at like the average salaries for professional women and professional men? Will, have you even looked at that?
I I have not studied it, but wait a minute. Hold on, check this out. I can say this real quick. I can say this.
What?
Say
No,
somebody.
I mean I know you do your homework, so I
No,
don't
no,
know.
I'm great. I'm great.
Okay,
Come with it. I'm great. Come with it. I'm great. Come with it. For
okay.
instance,
Because I looked at like four. I had to write it down because the numbers are so big. Four
break it down.
sports.
Go ahead and break it down.
Wow.
So I'm gonna say no, but I do know some of it. But go ahead, break it down. But
Well, would it surprise you that like there's only like one sport where women make more money than men?
what's that, soccer?
I know. Really? You're gonna say soccer?
Nah, because hold on, one sport. Wait a minute. And you know what? What what
Really?
volleyball? What is that? What is it? What sport?
Gymnastics.
Uh,
And it's not even it's almost like it's about like $5,000. That's it. But that's one of the sports that
that's
but
it.
I mean cuz really and truly we watch I mean the women kind of they've been able to tap in that where the men and the other sports and I looked at basketball, golf, soccer and baseball, right? And softball. I
Right,
compared those two, all those four. But the ladies in gymnastics have been able to tap into that dollar amount franchise equivalent money like the men in those other four sports that I'm talking about, right?
right.
And so like it's I couldn't even do the math really. I just know like we're talking about five figures versus seven figures,
Right.
you know. So like basketball, it's eight like the average salary. This is just the average, not franchise. 8 million versus 75,000. And I remember 20 years ago, those women who played in WNA had to have like two jobs.
Right.
So when I lived in Indianapolis, the Fever was developed, which is the
Mhm.
lady WNBA. And some of those women, even my cousin who played in the Sparks, they had to have a second job.
Right.
But now with 75 grand, depending on where you are in the country, you could probably live off that, maybe. You know?
But the thing about it,
Maybe.
well, maybe. And the crushing thing to me is this though, 75,000 to like some of them get like very few, maybe Tarasi or Super, maybe 100,000. But my thing is this: that's the
Yeah.
stars. That's the stars. So somebody that's on the bench that maybe split their time from the G League and whatever makes way more than that. But you know what though? Some people might say, how you feel about this though, Jeff? Some people might say, well, they only play like 3 months.
Well, it just has to kind of like so the men's sports have been playing a lot longer professionally than the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've been able to perfect the merchandise, the TV spots, the sponsorships, and then also like off entertainment, like fantasy football. So those things kind of develop from this ongoing history of development of these players. And it needs to be the same development for women. It's not going to start right away, but you got to give them the same exposure. Maybe the league plays longer. I don't know why it's shorter. And it's probably because it interrupts the men's schedule.
No, you're absolutely right. Because you remember when the WNBA started, they basically put them into the time slot or the time when the finals was over in June.
Yeah.
And it was like, we might give you a couple of games in June, but let's wait till this is over. And then we put you right in the summer, then it's over, then yeah. No, you're right.
Right.
But to
And
me,
then football. So it ends right before the NFL, right? So
right,
yeah.
right. And also is this, like, going back to you talking about your cousin and other women, we're talking about guys, we're talking about basketball right now, professional basketball. My thing is this. They go over to like Russia and different places like that and make $1 million.
Yes.
tax free, but in their own, you know what I'm saying? They can't, they have to just leave. And I just don't.
And
That's
they're treated like royalty too.
yes, like the stars that they are in United States. You're right. You're absolutely right, and that's bonkers to me. But I know,
So baseball's the same. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, no, it is because
yeah,
that baseball money's long. That baseball money long. Woo! That,
and the women that the softball, they gotta have probably 3 jobs because you're talking about four. This is the average salary.
okay.
You're talking about 4 digits versus 7.
Ooh-wee.
And I went the average, so it's 4 million is the average for baseball,
Right.
and then the average for softball is 6,000.
Oh my gosh. You might as well go to the church league, drink some beer, and go back home.
Have a club.
Yeah, like, hey.
Who won't play? You won't play? You won't play? Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. And I
Yeah.
don't know, did you look at the how's the soccer?
Oh, soccer. So the average play is like now you're talking 6 figures versus 5. So 400,000 for men, and then 35,000 for women. And so these women have to make a really conscious decision. I'm not going to start a family just
Right,
yet
right.
because they could cake that money as a single woman and then decide later on. Where men, when they're making all this money, they can get married right away, start having
Right,
family,
right.
start investing, you know.
Which is huge.
Uh,
Which is huge.
yes. And so the women, we have to but thanks to Title 9, and Title 9 doesn't really help women once they leave college, but it gets them prepared, like gets them educated enough to ask for certain things. So when it comes to like fertility or taking care of your home, um, healthcare, that kind of thing, it teaches them how to speak better for themselves.
Now you know on the show, and you're getting to know the show. So granted, we have some things that we're trying to go through on this program right now, but I always go off the cuff. This kind of like how you like giving me some questions. What do you think about this NIL? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Is that an acronym? Say what?
The name,
And I,
image, and likeness. You know how in college they can get paid for that. Like, what do you? And I know that
oh,
you work with the NCAA and all this kind of stuff. Like, what do you think about that? Because I saw something, and I didn't get to say it last week because we've been swamped. But to me, that's just more a recruiting thing because I saw where a University of Kentucky freshman has a deal with Porsche the car, and the dealership is in Louisville, and so he's going to get to drive a brand new Porsche, but also make 6 figures as a freshman. Hold on, wait a minute. You know I'm about to ring the bell on this one. I gotta ring my bell on this one. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna give him applause because I, and my wait a minute, and I want to tie it into this. So
well,
go ahead.
it's okay. So it's so 20 years ago when I was at the NCAA, they were talking about should students get paid
Okay.
because of certain students at that time. And when I graduated from college, I was 5 years younger than the Fab Five in Michigan. And so, and they actually, along with other players before them, changed the way we dressed, the way
Right.
we, the way we did our hair,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And so they, in those merchandise, were able to, I mean, capitalize on socks to uniforms to the haircut, the hairstyles, and so yes, I do believe that players should get paid, especially the ones. I mean, all of them for real. Um, However, when you talk about the Porsche deal, it just seems like this is getting a little. It's getting too far. There's no cap. There should
None.
be a cap, and it's almost like I hate to throw it out there, but
Throw it
it's
out there,
almost like
Jessica. Throw it out
well,
there.
it's almost like AAU where there's no regulations, right? And so these folks can build relationships with youth at 8 years old, and then they can dictate where these young people are going when they become, young adults. And then that they already have a relationship with the institution too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
they're the institution and the merchandise, they all have a relationship. They know who's coming. They have a pipeline themselves.
Right.
And so to me, I feel like that young man, yes, that's going to UK, he should be paid, but he doesn't need a Porsche. Now, does he need a vehicle? Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
But
I don't see anything wrong with that.
look, a Porsche
But a Porsche?
and six figures in a year. Not even a year because he's going pro. I mean, everybody know he's gonna go pro, so it's like
Well, I just think that, they already get a free um they get a free ride to go to school. Some of these players, right?
right, right, right,
And but it doesn't cover their living expenses. So like eating after school,
right,
clothes,
right.
and some of them are just barely making it.
Hungry, starving. Yeah, the guys that people worship is yeah, because everybody's not coming from a background that can afford it. But I want
And
to
they
hit
have a lot of
this.
pressure. They have a lot of pressure from their families
Oh
to
yeah,
be successful too. And I don't think money is really going to help, but I do feel like as long as if they can decrease some of those hardships, yes. I just don't think a Porsche is going to decrease that young man's hardship. If anything, it's going to make it worse.
right. But plus it's like I got this six figure. Go and throw that tray on the top. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted one of these. Oh, my dad did. Somebody did. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. But I
Some
want
of
you. The reason why I brought it up, not solely for that, because that's what's going to go on. What about the women? Would we see a woman athlete get a six figures, or would it go like how we talked about, four figures, five figures, maybe? I mean,
I need to probably ask one of my line sisters because I know some of her track runners at UK
hmm,
get paid. I'm not sure how much, but it's enough. It's a stipend.
stipend, yes,
So stipend versus what you just said, endorsement
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and six figures. That's a whole different. That's a whole different level of. And it still goes against like Title IX because now this person is in the college institution, and and Title IX it regulates folks who are getting, well, not folks, but educational institutions who are getting federal dollars.
right.
And Kentucky's not private. Kentucky's a public school.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have to really make sure they're following the guidelines. I don't see how that's gonna work.
Right, right.
In certain private schools, they can move.
Differently. Yes, differently. And that's all. That's been like that from elementary all up. So yeah. All right.
But
Let's.
don't you think, as a safety thing, like, don't you feel like they would have a target on them? Like, is it really safe for an 18-year-old to be driving a Porsche?
Thank you. I'm with you, but you got to think like most of the the star athletes. Let's say we're saying that UK that's the basketball. They only gonna be there for so many months. They gone. You see what I'm saying? So yes, they got the target on the back or whatever. But now it's almost like we can illegally we can legally have pet steakhouse, buy everybody steaks, give everything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That way. But like you said, with that Porsche, but they've been driving nice cars. It's been some nice cars on the University of Louisville campus. There's been some nice cars in Michigan. But now you're putting it out on record like, oh, well, Jessica got a Porsche and she's getting six figures. I don't think I want that on my back. Don't put that on me. I don't want nobody robbing me. Nothing like that. I even coming from, my cousin, four kin back, coming to me talking about I need some cash. I don't want that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Let's go.
And if you're going to give it to them, don't put it out there. Like, don't expose. Like,
Shouldn't.
So when I say safety, it should be discreet too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's only going to be discreet so far, but
'Cause-
they're already the kings of the bluegrass.
yeah. 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 Like for them. Here we go. Question two. Let's get question two up first. Okay. Let me see. And I think I like this portion better. Okay. We'll keep it like this. Should the NCAA get rid of the collegiate one and done rule? What you think about that?
Yes. Well, I think so because now that they're getting ready I just feel like an 18-year-old or even a 19-year-old, they're just not ready for what comes with all that money
Mhm.
and exposure. Like if they had a life skills course on money management, um, professional development, because in school you're just getting through your prerequisites, if that,
Right.
you know. So, but now, some of these students, especially depending on what school you go to, they already know that they're not gonna it's gonna be short term. I just think they're creating this cycle of it's abuse. It's really abuse to these young players because they get out early, and who knows what kind of educational background they have. And then once things happen to end in the professional game, what do they have to fall back on? You know,
I agree with you. No, I wholeheartedly agree with you because all that did was like give coaches opportunity to go ahead and prosper off of these kids. When back in the day they used to go, baby, to go, you ain't got to worry about it. Maybe school's not for me. Why have me in here? And I don't even want to do that. I can go ahead and make this money because if I was 18 and I go to college or whatever, I can get my job. You can get a job before that. But you know what I'm saying? So why not? Why like take that opportunity away from me? And like every sport don't need it. We know like college football, they do that for a health reason. You know what I'm saying? Because a fresh somebody who's 18 or 19 who's leaving high school going to the pros. Oh no, no! There's going to be so many cases, deaths, maybe all kinds of things like that. But as far as one and done, as far as even like baseball, like maybe the one and done is really what is really for baseball. I mean, basketball because
in
baseball,
tennis,
yeah,
something like that.
because baseball has like 3 years removed. You can get drafted, but if you get drafted and you go to college, you got to stay 3 years. You see what I'm
But
saying?
these one and dones are also playing in AAU, so they're already a prospect no matter what. I think it's just a rites of passage to go into the college just to make
Mhm.
it seem right. But they already know before they even get there. So I feel like just stay in AAU.
Well, hold on. Also, let's check this out. Sometimes these kids, who is the next big baller shot caller, goes to college and get exposed, and like you never heard from them again. So no, I mean, so really, it's like maybe you should just say, hey, if that's where I'm at, if I got like some suitors and everybody wants me, maybe I should just go ahead and just.
Well, there's a lot of distractions in college. So let's say if they're in AAU and they balling out, and then you send them to UK with a Porsche and 600,000, whatever that six figures is,
Mhm.
they gonna be partying. They're gonna attract the wrong people, right? They gonna be partying. Ain't nobody gonna be like, okay, go practice, go school.
Especially when
No, they gonna be like, let's roll out. What do you
especially when I
mean?
can just do a little bit. I ain't got to do enough. I just got to do a little bit. I mean, because I got to play, take a little bit classes, enough classes, PE and everything else, and then I'm gone. I ain't got to worry about nothing. Yeah. So I mean, I think I agree with you. I think they should just go ahead and let that fly, because if you want college, you want college.
And college isn't for, like you said, college isn't for everybody. Like even my undergrad degree, it's fine art. I was drawing and painting and doing graphic design. I didn't need to go to
So
college for
you,
that.
so you was like graffiti type. You the ones that drawing shit on the. Oh, my bad.
You know what?
I'm playing with. I'm just going off
No.
what you said.
I didn't say graffiti. I
Oh,
didn't say
okay.
graffiti.
Okay. We'll talk about it another time. Okay. All right, let's go to
I'm just
question.
saying, everybody, college ain't for everybody. That's
That's
all I'm
true. It's not. It's not. We know that's right. Let's go on. Let's go to question three.
saying.
Let's see.
Is NFL over?
Here we go. Is the NFL overprotecting offenses offenses because of the risk of head trauma, basically TE? Um, Let me start, and I'm gonna let you
Yeah, please,
rock
because
and
you
roll.
played.
I'm gonna let rock and roll. A lot of things has changed. I mean, a lot of calls and things like that. Uh, they are making changes for that, and I don't think that it's not a bad thing because a lot of cases, a lot of like before social media, before even all this stuff. When we say social media, it's also more news coverage. It's been a lot of people who probably have hurt or killed themselves or did some things like that because of trauma to the head and things like that we did not know because we was taught, man, if it ain't broke, you just keep going. You keep rocking and rolling. I can't tell you how many times I saw stars in practice. Like I'm pop, and I'm like, ooh, you see, every football player, and this is true. Every football player who played, you have been concussed, and it maybe not been to the degree where you can't walk or whatever, but you seen them stars, you see them blinking, and you just be like, shake it off. What do they tell you? Shake it off, shake it off. You shake it off, and you keep going. So as the level of
Does
competition
that work? Does that work? Shake it off?
mentally, you've been taught that, so you're gonna believe that it works. This is the start. You're gonna believe they work. But my thing is that each level of football or sport you go, the higher the impact, the more physical the impact. And so my thing is, yes, I'm old school. I love to see the hits and everything else, but I do not love to see the brothers and everything. Even the women, whoever gets hit. I don't like to see that. I don't want to see that a story of uh, somebody over here who everybody used to idolize, and now he can't even tie his shoes, he can't move and whatever. So I have no problem with that because it is a high course collision, kind of like how we said about the money wise. So if I know that I have to give up my body, and body meaning head to toe, and I got to knock somebody out for me to keep my job because I am a special team person, I got to protect my family. I'm going to knock you out. I mean, that's just how you, because I'm getting paid 400,000, 500,000, whatever. So I've been taught that. So that's dangerous. It is dangerous, whatever. But I have no problem with it. What do you think about it?
And when you say like brothers, like I'm talking about brothers when they hit 30, 40, mid 40s, that seeing them at that age.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and some of them are not here anymore. They're
Right.
gone.
A lot.
Either heart attacks or suicides, those kind of things. And then you read it nationally every once in a while, a former NFL player or boxer
Mm-hmm.
does something like, and we're all grabbing our pearls, clutching our pearls, like, oh my God, this happened again,
Right.
right? So I like you. I used to love football. 5 years ago, I was your girl. I'm going to all the home collegiate games here in Louisville. Couldn't wait to get there. I'm tailgating. I'm at the games, and my brother played, and then we also followed other young athletes that went to Mail or local athletes. Eddie Bridgewater, Lamar Jackson. Those are really great times. But you also see some of those players wheeled off the court, and they don't ever come back, right? So I have mixed feelings about it now. Will, like, it wasn't. I mean, 5 years ago, I wasn't. it wasn't always like that. But even talking to some people that I love close to me, when they talk about some of their friends or some of the pains that they still have, and they've been off the field over 15 years, and you're still struggling from a pain that you know. So the whole thing about when you said, let's back up when you said about the concussion in the game where the man, I guess it was the previous game that happened Saturday or Sunday. Sunday.
It happened this Sunday. Patrick Mahomes, yes.
And so, like you said, like usually when I used to be a team mom for a dance team, and we had to take concussion courses. And whenever a concussion was to happen, or even allegedly it happened, we had to take a number of steps to where that person was not going to be back on the dance floor, or even on the court or in the field. We had to sign documentation to say that we will go through these certain steps. We had to monitor their sleep, make sure, watch the way they walk and the way they talk. And so I remember a girl on my daughter's team hit her head on the floor. She did like a flip, and that was the end of her career in high school. So for you to say that they said that he can come back in, some of these players are under pressure, whether in their contracts they got to have so many catches or so many tackles, so many of these, right?
Right.
To get so much money, and they're up against that. And is it greed? Is it greed, or is it just?
I want to say, Jessica. I want to say, maybe not the word greed. Like I said, for the guy who's struggling to just make it on a team because he don't want to go to Walmart or some shit like, you know what I'm saying, that he's not going to make something, and I can make this, and I'm the human wrecking ball. But like Patrick Mahomes, $400-something million, you know what I'm saying, that kind of things like that. It is pressure because it's like I'm here, I'm getting paid this. I have to win, and they like we got to win now. It's just it's different levels of it, but it's still all bad. It's still all bad. I mean, no matter what you look at, how you look at it, because like we talked about it previous, like college ain't for everybody. So maybe I didn't get a degree. Maybe I'm stuck, and my life expectancy at let's say NFL is maybe 3 years, 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, it's like 3 years the average.
Yeah. So it's like I gotta get it, and so it's like I'm just going hard, 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 and then like you said, like we talking about it right now, years later, and it ain't got to be a whole bunch of years later. Boom. What now? What are we doing now?
And then there's so many stages to the CTE, or concussions and whatnot, and they're so long term. We talk about depression and anxiety and aggression. Those are things that I didn't know about 5 years ago. I didn't even really care to know.
Right,
I
right.
didn't. I mean, but it makes sense if the way that impact happens. You can hear it from the upper stands. How if they hit them clean enough, ooh
Right,
wee.
right,
And I used to cheer that on.
right.
So I just feel I just have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, that's
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know they say if you hit them, if they get hit in the head, then that person is ejected from the game, right?
college.
Whoever that defender is, or whoever
College
makes the
talk. College has a rule for targeting. They call it targeting, and you just trying to, like back in the day, you were trying to knock somebody out. They're like, "No, we're not doing that."
but once it already happens, right? So what now? What? So this person's got to go, and they both
But
traumatized.
let's be real about it. These kids been taught to hit that way since they was little. It's hard to change that. Even if I tell you, Jessica, you cannot shoot that way, you can't do a layup that way, and you've been doing that, even kind of, you're gonna do that in the game. I mean, what I'm saying, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna try not to, but sometimes when you under fire, so basically, as a football player, if you're used to tackling, you see somebody come around the middle, and I'm gonna dislodge the ball from him. I'm going to hit him. Now instead of taking a headshot, which people did, now I got to take this shoulder. I got to take the
And
but
now
still,
the collarbone.
you can still hit. It's still a mess. It's still a mess.
I got a question. You know that I remember, and I used to watch it with my brother. They used to like these guys. You guys would all get in a circle, right? And then one person in the middle. And then it just seemed like I don't know. The coach might blow a whistle, and somebody, and maybe even two. And it's like one person, the person in the middle has to like constantly like I don't even know what that's called. But from what
Yeah,
I saw was like they would like
it's like I think it's you talk. I think you're talking about the Oklahoma drill, and basically you have a guy in the middle, and he's chopping his feet and whatever, and then they calling somebody. He might be behind. You got to come around and you hit each other. Pop. Then yeah, football or something.
so that right there is like that's what they talk about. The game is horrible. No, it's been horrible. This is they was
But see,
five. They
that's
been
what I'm
doing that
saying.
since they was
Like,
five.
but check this out. People see it. People see it on Twitter, TikTok, and things like this. Like they got these little kids doing it, but that's what we was doing then. It was like, and it had it like you could lay down the whistle, go pop. Yeah, you was like two rams battling. You know, pop.
Yes.
Somebody ain't gonna survive. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody, pop, you gone. Okay. Then, as you did it, you're still after her. You gotta chop your feet, wait for the next two.
Yeah.
Pop. Yeah, oh yeah, it's violent. It's violent. And I mean, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but that's how I was brought up, and I loved it at that time. I did. I mean, I ain't not gonna.
What's I mean, I did too. I thought it was just part of the game. So what did you call that drill?
Oklahoma drill.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think that's the one you're talking about. And it's several other drills that mimic that Oklahoma drill, and yeah, like you had a lot of players hiding.
I bet.
You had a lot of players hiding. I remember real quick. I remember after we get my senior year, after we got our doors blown off by Ballard, even though we didn't scout for him, our coach was like, "Don't even worry about him" and stuff. That's when Coach Redmond was there, and we got shellacked like no other. That day at practice, that Monday, because JV I think played, so they was gone. So pretty much with seniors, the dudes, even if you was a senior, you didn't play, you had to participate. We tackled for about an hour and a half, and so we was trying to pick the lesser people in front of you. Hey, we wasn't no dummy. Like, hold on, you ain't getting me. I hate to say your name, but I'm gonna say your name. Chris Thompson, get in front of me.
Right.
Right, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a mess. Hold on, let's get to this next question real quick. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. All right. So let's go get this next one. All right. Cool. Should professional athletes use their platform to talk about social issues? What do you think?
I I think they should, and then I want you to give your opinion too.
I got you.
But I think should just to be safe and be covered, I think they need to work it in their contracts to be able to speak on certain social issues that they want to support. And that way everybody's on the same page and there's no confusion or something like that. Um, at the end of the day, they're influencers.
True.
They're influ- and so and you've been able to reap benefits because of some of these social injustices that are going on to this day. So you get to make a lot of money. They isolate you from the realities of some of the common folk go through. Even though they go through some things too, it's just higher. It's just a different level of stuff.
I mean, I
But yes,
I agree with you though. I mean, I love how you put that like in the contract because if it's in the contract, you got an agent, you can rock and roll with it. Then it's no issue. Don't be getting mad at me and talking about well, hold on, whatever like that. But what? How many owners will do that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Uh, but I will say this: yes, they should. You know how many kids look up to these athletes? They're talking about from soccer, women's soccer players, the tennis players. I mean, every sport, every gender, everything they look up. So yes, like Why I might bite my tongue, but they have to. But the ones who do, you don't see them no more. Everybody knows Kaepernick. Like, come on, man. I mean, like, wow. But then we see all this other stuff going on. It's still going on. Still stuff popping off. Because I would love to see, like LeBron, he does like Twitter stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I would love like, bam. What would that look like? Would Nike say, "No, I'm done with him"? Would the Lakers say, "Get off my team"? With the cinema that he's rocking and rolling with, when they say you can't do no more movies, dude is filthy rich, like filthy. You can say whatever you want to now.
He's got a school, like he's able to make sure that and those students can go to college now if they
Right,
want to. I just think that there's so many players out here, men and women, and just let's call them human beings because we got to use the right pronouns.
right. Because we talk about everybody. So yes,
Should really band together and use their money to have a greater impact because you see one-offs and different folks doing this and that, but if they were able to put their money together they could actually do like some really progressive things.
so
They could help us, like, I mean, I don't know, it just seems like they could get the right resources to talk about hygiene, healthcare, how to take care of your money, like there's so many ways to help
right, and
the underserved folks that they could work together. And I think some of them need to, like, they don't all need to do the same mission. It
mhm,
needs to let's say there's about 30 professional athletes making close to you know upper six figures or whatnot.
mhm.
They need to pick every industry that the underserved is failing in. That's from healthcare to criminal justice to education to housing, all that. Like they need to band together and feel, target some of those areas of where some of us are lacking in.
what I the thing I love what you was talking about is that a lot of times, like when somebody reads this question, they're thinking about like somebody just got killed and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of social issues out there that it is. It's not about just that. And I agree with you. Like, and then like it may be someone's doing it, but like more need to do it. Like you said, you cover a whole gamut that, like I said, when people read this question, they ain't thinking about it. They ain't thinking about all the violent stuff. No, we're talking about this your staple of living. Like you said, housing, self care things like that. That can really allow people to grow
To
and be
love
a person.
themselves.
Yes, to be
Yeah.
a person. Because a lot of stuff is missing. A lot of stuff is missing. And with all that, that's there, and like you said, 30 athletes, it could be 30, whatever, any sport, any and every sport, like just give back to the communities. And even like I mean, not everybody's fortunate to have professional sports, and we understand that, but you have people who will come back and give. But I love that respond what you said because it's more than to that. We understand that that gets noticed. Okay, the violence and stuff like that does get noticed. It may not get corrected, but it gets noticed. But you have a lot more uh, needs that need to be met on a different level. And you're right. I think they can hit a home run. They can really make a difference if they do focus on it. Now you may not get that the bells and whistles as you with the other stuff, but that right there is the grassroots that keeps everybody going. So I agree with you on that.
I'm frozen, Will.
Keep talking. I see you. Hold on.
Okay.
Get this last question in. I got you. I got you. I see. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you just
This is
called
a
in.
bad shot.
You hear me? Like you just called in. Like it's like, oh, she's like she just called in. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to freeze. Let me ask you this real quick. Should championship when that COVID, should the championship wins during global pandemic come with an asterisk. Basically, that they only won because of COVID.
You know, I went back and forth on this one, and because when you say championship, you're talking about professional championships, not collegiate, right?
I would say, can we say that too, though? Can we say, did we have a lot of, let me ask you this, did we have a lot of, see, I don't think we had a lot of teams that they was affected. Like, say, home team, let's say Louisville, they missed a lot of games
Mm-hmm.
because of this. So, yeah, it was, yeah, the championship period, let's say championship period.
Okay, just
But we
checking.
do have a bigger, with the, because we know the NBA and WNBA went underneath, they was in a bubble. So,
Well, because the COVID can be contracted, really and truly, we don't know how it could be contracted,
what you
and so that's the thing. It's like, so I do think an asterisk should be there that memorializes 2020 and 2021 that we were in a space of the pandemic. I don't see anything wrong with that, and because you got teams who are projected to go far just based on the talent that's on the teams. And then next thing you know, you get hit with COVID, and COVID can take you out. Like it was the Asia Dora who played at
yes,
U of L.
yeah,
How she was a long bowler,
right.
right? Like I don't even think is she playing now.
She
But I
hasn't
remember
played.
just reading an article about.
She hasn't played in 2 years, basically. Two basketball. You know what I'm saying? Since that COVID, so she missed last year in that bubble, and she missed this year.
Right, because now she's got to build her organs back up. You just
Right.
can't run out there and start playing like on the level before before COVID came. And I remember reading articles about how she was coughing up blood, and it affects people differently. So I think the asterisk is fair,
Mhm.
and just you know,
Uh,
it's going to be interesting how people feel how they if they win the championship, because it's like if not all the franchise players, like you were telling me, franchise, the All Star, the honorable mention, having you broke it down the other week. If they're not in the game, is it really
right. Right.
is it real?
And you know what? And I'm gonna tell you, I really think like basketball is the one that really shows its face. Just because even though NFL they had where no fans was there, they were still playing, and I mean they had their breaks and stuff. But you can
Mhm.
see like um, had the COVID, then you had like because you remember it was a bubble. Then they had last year, and like because you remember in the bubble, you was in a bubble. Last year they was able to play at third place, and you saw some difference and things like that. But my whole thing is when I'm seeing these teams who balled in the bubble and did all kind of stuff, and everybody like, oh yeah, Miami Heat, they this, and then when they went outside the bubble, like, dude, what happened? We thought y'all was gonna be here. You know what I'm saying, like that, because it was almost like it was like NCAA style basketball. It was like
Yeah,
tournament type style. Besides the little, the series, but it did a difference. And to me, no one wants that asterisk by your name or anything. But everybody who has lived in it, everybody has been affected by COVID. You know what I'm saying, the pandemic. So I have no problem with it because I say it always on the show. With some team, everybody thought I'm like, man, you remember it was COVID year. I mean, everybody was affected. People was hurt. People didn't get to play. They didn't get to train. See, the whole thing with the COVID year, a lot of training did not happen like how it usually happens. So a lot of people end up getting hurt.
that's true.
Your body wasn't used to that. So now we got to go full tilt. We didn't have an extra off season to do things and work out, so it did kind of mess up everything on that one. So I mean, I think it could be, but I'm also like a person like I'm a big time baseball fan. Also, that if people don't know that now, they don't watch the show. But like with Barry Bonds, like with the steroids and different things like that. Yes, we know that's illegal. That's crazy. But Barry Bonds was hitting home runs before he did that. Before his head blew up. I mean, I mean, people kind of shrink when they get older. Uh,
Mark McGuire.
Sammy Sosa. These guys' heads got so damn big, like grew. You don't do that. You don't do that. So it was
So,
crazy.
what is that? A side effect?
Yes. I mean, they was. I mean, I'm looking at them cats like, dude, that noggin is bigger than what it was 20 years ago when he was. Like that don't even make sense. But I'm saying this is like even those cats, like Mark McGuire, he might have been on it for like years. We'll never know. They will never tell us.
Right.
But Barry Bonds is the scapegoat of it. But he was always a great hitter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying get that stuff to cheat and all that, but you still in baseball, And like your father said, you wasn't 10 years old. You was younger than that when you played.
Sure.
He reminded me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure he did.
He
I'm sure he
reminded
did.
me. So, you know, you have to have that coordination. Eye, hands, everything like it. It pays dividends. Not everybody can hit a ball, identify that pitch, and knock that stuff out of the park, or even a single. So, I mean, he had that keen eye anyway. But steroids not only get you big and pump, but it helps you recover quicker.
Recover, you mean from like
Injuries,
oh
strain
really?
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
hmm Hey, you stick with me, kid. You learn a lot. So yes, we but but to go back on that though, I have no problem with it. I know. See, I'm not I'm a big time NBA fan, but I don't have a team. So I know the ones who's gonna cry about it is the ones who want, like the Lakers wanted. The Lakers fans, they gonna be up. You don't know what you're talking about. Boo, boo, boo. I mean, okay, whatever. Y'all didn't do nothing last year. Sorry, Mark. I know LeBron's on your team. Sorry, LeBron's his favorite in that team. But
So wherever LeBron goes, that's who Mark's cheering for.
right, 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 right. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, anything else would you like to drop a knowledge before we wrap up this show? You kind of like stumped me on some things with your questions, but
did I?
no, you really didn't. But it was nice that that asked that. That was cool. I liked it. That was good. That was good. That was good. But I appreciate you joining me today on this lovely Greatness Monday. That's why I named the show Greatness. So, if anything else you want to add, go ahead.
No, I think we touched on some really hot topics,
Right.
from healthcare to payment, equal pay. That's what
Everything.
it was, equal pay,
Yeah.
and um, life skills, the safety for men and women sports. Yeah, I think it was a really good discussion.
It was. And real quick, before I let this go, I'm going to say it right now. Make sure on Thursdays, 3 p.m., you can join us. Listen to us on a podcast on envision-radio.com. Check us out every Thursday. We're trying to get some more days. We rock and roll on that one. Also, you want that merch, t-shirthooligans.com. Check it out. They got the great stuff. Get you geared up with that Martin Wheel stuff. Big time. And we got some more things that's coming up like that. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
and make sure you subscribe, like follow
Yeah,
Mark and
yeah,
Will.
right. What she said? Subscribe. Walking Sports on the channel. YouTube. You see, YouTube channel Walking Sports. Subscribe because hopefully, what I'm saying, if I didn't scare her off, she'll be back on the show. Y'all see more of her. We have some things we're trying to work together, collab on. So definitely, for you, Jessica, I got something for you. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you. You nailed it like always. So
Yes.
it's another banger always. So we holler at y'all next time. And if I can look, next time.
Next time.
It's 8 p.m. Let's get it. Mark and Will, yeah, yeah. Mark and Will, yeah, yeah.
It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Monday through Friday, player. Watch it while you on the go. It's the Mark and Will Show. It's the Mark and Will Show. Catch them at 8 p.m. They gon' tell you what they know.